To the hospital?
Yeah. Well, you know, she was born the 4th of July, but a few months earlier, we had had a lot of rain, but Carl was in a bowling league, and I would ride. You heard about that?
No.
Oh, well, I would ride in Cedar Rapids with him, as pregnant as I was, and we didn't realize it, but there's a creek and a little bridge, and he's flying down the road, and all at once the rear wheels of the car hit half of the bridge, had washed away.
Oh my gosh.
And didn't come though. Just stayed put.
That's the story. She couldn't quite remember the whole story.
Well, that's what it was.
So how long did you and Carl live in the house? How
Oh,
many years?
gosh.
About?
Don't look at Larry.
Yeah, don't look at me.
Did you move in right after you were married?
No. Right after we were married, we lived in Elmer's place out at the river farm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
See, we were married in the spring and we lived out there all summer. Well, then, when the weather started getting cold, in the meantime, we were, you know, the house where the Cunninghams lived,
Yeah.
on the other side of the road from the family, you know, and up the road from the house that your folks built. Well, that was when I learned how to hang wallpaper, because Anna Moeller loved to hang wallpaper, and she taught me how to do it. We wallpapered a bunch of those rooms, and so we moved in there first. And then after the house that Elmer and Alice built was finished, then we moved across the road into the big house.
That's why Dad hated wallpaper. He would have nothing to do with wallpaper. They built that house in town. He said, no, I've stripped enough wallpaper after my sister's houses. I'm never doing wallpaper again.
Oh, gosh.
I'd forgotten all
Well,
about
she
that.
had me hanging wallpaper for years
Yep.
and years.
He hated wallpaper.
I loved it. I thought it was fun to hang wallpaper.
I like it too. He would have no part of wallpaper.
Yeah.
Crazy what you remember, huh?
Yeah.
Come and see, spend some time with her. She would be in her house dress and her apron. She worked hard. And when we would come to see her, I'll tell you now, I forgot to say, she wore her hair back in a bun. And when we came, she would ask my sister Audrey, who was good with hair, she'd take the bun out and Audrey could brush her hair. And we would spend time doing that. We would admire her garden. She had a very large garden with a large strawberry patch. So we could go out and pick strawberries. We were only little, we were good. She had a wonderful garden. And while we sat around the kitchen table, we would take down the letters that had come from Hilda and Marie in California. We kept in touch with Grandma, and so we'd all sit and read the letters. So we kept track of that. Grandma had a problem, you know. She had a problem with hearing. Some of us have, unfortunately, picked up. But, and in those days, a hearing aid meant a battery that was like this big. I don't know that she had to wear. But they had it, and she got along fine. She was just a very nice person. We enjoyed her very much. Okay, Grandpa I didn't know very well. I knew, but Grandpa was kind of quiet, and I think it's because his first 4 babies were girls. And I think that being a farmer, not a very good thing. So we didn't get a lot of talking from Grandpa. He was, reminds me of a story Aunt Hilda told once to me, one of these reunions. One of the great aunts or somebody had told her that when it came for her baptism day, instead of, she was a 4th girl, instead of having a big doo-doo. It was in their home, and they had to get a bowl with water to baptize her, so they picked one out of the cupboard to baptize her. She didn't think that hers was a very big thing. Okay. They had a house that when they lived on the farm originally was small, and as the family grew, they needed a bigger house. So they took the house and they moved it to the town of Newhall. Larry, is it still there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's right behind the one that they eventually built in Newhall,
Yeah.
right
Okay.
back to back almost,
Okay.
off one side by one.
So the house is still
There,
there.
yeah, it's in very good shape.
Thought so. All right. So they built this big new home, which was quite beautiful, I'd say, for that time. And they also made it quite progressive for that time. He put a Delco plant, do you know what this is? I guess some kind of big battery plant or generator, is that right?
Yes.
I think it's a big generator downstairs so that they had electric lights, which was interesting. And they had new cars that they kept up, modern cars. So they were quite progressive.
Phyllis, for the benefit of some of them, what year, time frame are you talking now for the people?
The house, you mean?
Years ago.
Okay, so it's
Yeah. So
1920.
most of it.
Dad
I mean,
always
come
said
up
that's
with-
his first memory, when he was like 2 or 3, when he saw his house being pulled away.
Yeah.
So when he was born in 11,
It was 1914.
so somewhere along in there, there you go.
The house was built.
Yeah.
Years.
Oh, that's
More than
100.
that.
That's 100.
Okay.
That's right. So-
Well, I don't remember.
No, that's all right.
Close. All
That's
right, now I'll just share a few things of the social times we had. And one of them I remember, I'll ask Joanne, did Lois come back? No? Okay.
She's not feeling well.
Do you remember the Christmas Eve party that we had out on the farm one night? And we were all, the whole family was gathered there. And we were kept in the kitchen. And time went on and all at once somebody spied us. Oh, Santa Claus is here! So we peeked out, you remember? We went, looked, and in the front living room in the parlor, there was Santa Claus loading the bag. You know who that was?
Uncle Albert.
Uncle Albert.
Did you know it?
Which Albert?
Well, I didn't, I thought it was
Which Albert?
Santa Claus.
Oh, okay.
Her dad's
That's what I found out.
Yeah, he was Santa
Claus.
Okay.
Maybe.
Some other parties. Grandma came from a large family, the Internet family. And when they got together, it was a big group. And they would have house parties. And I can remember particular one house party where we went and sat on the steps watching, because the men in the basement were drinking beer and singing German songs. And they just had the best time. And they thought it was great. Once we went over to the colonies, because Aunt Christina and Uncle Fred Gunzenhauser had lived by the colonies. We had one of their big picnics there. What else did we have? Well, I guess that's maybe most of it. Oh, yeah. That pretty much covers it. Grandpa's family, Grandpa Moeller, had a brother, John, who lived across the road from the farm, and then back to Newhall. And I want to tell you, I'm going to digress here. And that is to say that Walt Moeller was their son, and Walt Moeller lived in Biwabik, Minnesota. He was an industrial arts teacher there, and he used to go up to the Boundary Waters, if you know where that is, in northern Minnesota. He went to the Boundary Waters in the summer when he was off from school, and he would set up camps and tents, and he would invite everyone up to come up and fish and spend the summer there. And Aunt Hilda went, and she had pictures of all the fish that were lined up that they had caught, and he had some interesting things. They tell me that they have put a plaque on a tree in the Boundary Waters in his honor, because he was an original up there, but I don't know. I don't know. In fact, Uncle Elmer really wanted to know if we could find it, and I wasn't able to do that, so. Okay, I think I'm just about to the end of what I wanted to say about them, except that in their later years, they moved to Atkins, and they built a home there that they were happy, and it was a good retirement. Typical Saturday was walking in the back door to the smell of home-baked bread and coffee cake. Grandma's a good baker. And they were able to relax and enjoy family and friends and their church that was nearby. If you have any questions or any additions to add to this, I would like to hear them.
Well, they used to do the church in German in Atkins, because when we were little, Mom and Dad, had 3 babies in 4 years. So they would drop us, so Grandma and Grandpa would go to the German church first. And then Mom and Dad would drop the 3 of us off, and they would go to church without us. And Mom would always say, people would come up and say, I know you have children, but how come we never see them? Well, 3 kids in church at one time would have been a little tricky anyway, And then we would stay for dinner. I can remember that. I don't know if the boys remember that, but I do. No?
Phyllis,
Yeah,
you mentioned his brother John Mullen.
Yeah.
I remember when they lived in Newhall, as a young child, I used to deliver sweet corn to their house.
okay.
But the more important thing is, we're talking longevity in this family. John and his wife at least were married 66 years, because when Newhall had its Diamond Jubilee in 1957, they rode on the Phillips 66 float for the parade, because they'd been married 66 years.
And they had their 50th when Mom was in the hospital when I was born. She told me that story, that I was born, so she didn't get to go to their party. I ruined the party.
But and Grandma Moore, her family was interesting too. There, yeah, and Christine. Good. Let's see. I had a whole list of what their names were. The Geralds and the Geralds and who else? Help me. The Krauts, the Gunzenhausers, the Geralds, the Hoppels. Some of the names. Good German names, aren't they? Joanne, I wanted you to put in some word, because you and I spent time out on the farm at Grandma's, and we love to go upstairs to the attic.
Yes, we did. I was saying to Phyllis before, I always had to go to Grandma's for a week in the summertime. A week at Phyllis's and a week at Lois's and a week at Grandma's. Well, there was nobody for me to play with at Grandma's, and there was just this little dog that jumped on me all the time. I didn't like that very much. No problem with dogs. So like the first night that I was there, I couldn't go to sleep, and I thought I cried all night. I'm sure I was asleep right there. But so the next day, Grandma said, well, would it help if we had Phyllis come over? And I said, yes, that would help. So Phyllis came over and spent the rest of the week with us so we could sleep. And Grandma had a little balcony off of
Yes,
the bedroom.
just gonna say that,
And
yes.
we did our drama off of that balcony. And then we loved to go up in the attic, and she had a big trunk there, and it had clothes in it, from probably the 1800s, who knows, in the early 1900s. And we played dress up, and we just had a wonderful time. And I said, I don't think we ever put anything back. But it was a time. And this is another terrible thing to say when you're talking about the house. It was a very nice house for the time, and they had running water and had a bathroom in most houses. Phyllis' house didn't have a bathroom. My grandma's house had a bathroom, and it had a closet. And
Are you gonna bring that up, Joanne?
Now you must.
Paul, I'll say 2 dead people, Paul and John and I used to go in the closet.
We hid in the closet.
Yeah, we'd hide in the closet when there were big family parties and watch the people come use the bathroom.
I'm gonna tell you something, that's what the kids were done, they were put upstairs, and you had to get your own amusement.
That's a kid though, isn't it?
I don't know why they jiggling and smirking.
Right. That puts a perspective on kids.
Well, didn't they say that?
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a real quick question because I'm not sure I understood it right now. When Grandma and Grandpa got married and they moved and they lived on the farm, that was where we live now in the old, no, where was this house that was taken into Newhall?
Where the big house is now.
Where the big house is.
now.
Yeah, the house.
So nobody lived where we live until
No.
Elmer and El. Well, there was a house there.
Yeah, there was a house there, but nobody
Okay.
that we know.
Okay, all right.
No, because John, his brother lived across the road in the other one, where there
Little
was a
place.
house.
The middle house.
Yeah, the middle place.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
call it
that
the
was
middle
John's.
place. Yeah.
But didn't Grandma Moeller design the house? That's what I'd always heard. That was more or less her design, the house, the big house.
The big house.
The big
And
one
you know,
that-
today walk-in closets are a big deal. Every bedroom in this house had a walk-in closet. And the
Yes.
bathroom even had a walk-in closet
Yeah.
practically. I
That's
mean,
what
that
we're
was so far ahead of its time. And that gorgeous woodwork and all that stuff, yeah. Had a parlor, you know.
Yeah. There was the east bedroom, with the one that had the balcony. There was the north bedroom. There was the west bedroom that had the stairs up to the attic. And the bathroom was the bedroom.
Who slept where?
2 east bedrooms, yes. It was a big,
Who slept where?
it
Yeah.
was a nice house.
Who had which bedrooms? Who had which bedrooms?
Who had which bedroom?
Did
I
Gra-
never lived there.
Okay, I'm just,
Grandma and Grandpa
And those
slept
are lived
Downstairs.
Tell they're down here.
They slept downstairs?
I
okay.
don't know.
I don't know, I'm asking. That made
Okay.
a difference, but I just wondered how they put everybody.
My only,
I
my
had the
memory
north room
is,
and Aaron had the southeast room.
Thank
You don't have any other
Thank you
answers.
for that.
I had the south bedroom for 10 years and I had to share it with the
there you
mower.
go. My only memory, not going from Cedar Rapids out to the farm all that often, or to Grandma's, but every time we'd go, there'd be homemade cookies. Well, we didn't have homemade cookies in Cedar Rapids at my mother's house. Wow, but then the negative was, I'd get a Christmas present. I heard, we'd all get Christmas, and it'd be some little, quote, book, you know, some little thing. And I was getting nice presents at home, you know, and I thought, this is.
It was always ordered from the Lutheran Missouri Center. Did so many grandchildren.
Oh, I didn't even know
Ordered,
that.
yeah, ordered from the Catholic.
Ask your big sister.
Accordion.
Those were good memories.
Accordion
Anyway,
publishing.
this is to the best of my knowledge, 80 years of jubilation, but how nice.